The papers are out. It's just all
Johnny's
over the place.
great.
Johnny, you put him on the spot and he just crumbles under the pressure. It's amazing that, he's a pro player, honestly. It's phenomenal. Anyway, I love you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about this real fast because one thing that Sideshow said that was very interesting was that Rogue are kind of reinventing themselves into this Sombra team, and a great map to play Sombra on is the one that's right there. Volskaya Industry is a good map to play that particular hero.
They didn't make it work on Numbani, though. I wonder what they decide to do here on Volskaya. It is a great Sombra map, but you just can't play around it. You can't play around it. I feel like I know the sometimes with Rogue, what happens is you play around the Sombra, and then your supports are dead, and then you have an EMP, and you're just
also the other thing to really put it in perspective, if the series was going to go to Game 5, they needed to win Numbani, period. Because then FaZe would have probably went Hanamura, they probably would have won Hanamura, and then Rogue would have went Watchpoint Gibraltar, in which case they have a very high probability of winning out on that map as well, because given their time on that particular map and the advantages that the desk was talking about before. And then we could have ended up in this Ilios situation. Now, I do agree with Reinforce. We're going to end up in a 3-1 here, with Rogue more than likely taking Volskaya. I have a lot of confidence in Rogue and Volskaya. And then FaZe just closing it out wherever they want to go.
Well, look, I think there's... I actually think there's a decent chance they can kind of pull this back, Rogue.
You think so?
I mean, look, their backs are against the wall here, right? We saw Immortals last week, right? Rogue wins the first 2 games. Immortals, they battle back to force a Game 5. Cannot
Never
count
forget
any
that
team out.
Watchpoint Gibraltar game.
FaZe Clan will be on defense here first, so you can get that fixed for you guys up top. Raucus will be running the Sombra for FaZe, and you'll have Shadowburn and Carpe staying on, Genji and Tracer. Until Rogue is able to protect their backline, they'll stay on that.
All right, just a reminder again, Rogue on the attack, FaZe on defense. Here we go. Let's see what Rogue are gonna do here, because this is a do or die situation. Raucus gonna be running that Sombra for FaZe.
Well, what Rogue wants to do here on offense is, get all the way through this left room, get AKM on the high ground, and have him be able to go to work on the 76. As you do see, though, FaZe on the defensive end, they have a good comp to kind of deal with this, right? I mean, you can have Shadowburn, Carpe get up to that high ground with Fact, Fiction, and Spree, put down some damage of their own, and then also they're able to farm some of their Sombra health packs. It'll be Carpe drawing first blood here up against Soon.
Want to be able to take out Raucus as well. He's so close to building up on that EMP. And there you go, the EMP is out. Let's see if Rocket decides to use it here as they get pushed all the way back. And they're just going to have to wait this out, re-engage. But surely they know that Raucus has to have it. Because just given how fast that EMP builds up here, let's see what they decide to do. They're waiting this one out.
It's just these extra few seconds, though, that's going to allow Shadowburn to come back off the spawn. There comes the EMP from FaZe Clan. It'll be Nox, though, getting his Spree out of his mech. Carpe falls to his death as well. This looks like a fight that is good for Rogue.
Yeah, which is kind of nutty considering that the EMP dropped, and there was just no follow-up there for FaZe. Shadowburn is going to get picked off, and now this is going to be Rogue maintaining control here of the point on attack.
Well, this is great for Rogue. I mean, you have both your support ults, you have Primal Rage, you have Tac Visor as well here. So you see Nico, he jumps off the map, trying to get right back in his mech. So for FaZe Clan, and you will have your Soundbar, you will have Dragon Blade. But that's it. Rogue has a huge ultimate advantage coming into this next fight.
FaZe really only have the, well, I mean, when you say only, you look at the player who has it is Shadowburn with the Dragon Blade as well. With
but you do have both support ults, and then you're also not worried about an EMP because they literally just use it. You didn't put down any damage to really allow Raucus to build up towards an EMP, so you're able to use the sound barrier whenever you want if you're Rogue.
Soon looking for a prime opportunity. Maybe he can get a one clip there onto Carpe. Would certainly hurt this hold here for FaZe. Once again, guys, just a reminder, FaZe will be on the attack, or excuse me, I got confused. FaZe will be on the defense here, but now AKM is just gonna push on forward. They're gonna have the Transcendence along with that Tac Visor. And they clear out these kills. Rogue looking really good thus far here on Volskaya. As they pass through that first tick, getting super close to being able to get the second now. Remember, the spawn is right there, so at the very least, FaZe are going to be able to answer back quickly, and they will have an EMP to work with on the answer back.
And Wins is playing further off of the point because when the EMP comes in, yep, there's going to be the sound barrier. Did not want to get caught in the EMP. And that was really, FaZe Clan's best chance there. You heard Shadowburn pull out the Dragon Blade. He falls only after grabbing AKM. It's Rogue still on this point. Now it's going to be Nox using the Primal Rage, trying to knock members of FaZe Clan back.
Look at this, just great Primal Rage use, man. You know, players, oftentimes you see them play with this particular hero, and they're just like all over the place with their Primal Rage, but Nox just really bringing and making his impact felt with the Primal Rage. But despite that, though, they're just going to have to disengage for a second. A lot of progress gained, though, X.
Yeah, you do get 2 ticks. And I mean, Volskaya is so difficult here on point B because, you know, the defense spawns so close. As, you know, once you burn through all those ultimates and you don't, like, snowball and take it right away, you kind of are forced to back up. So now we'll see this next fight go down. FaZe Clan, you know, most likely will end up getting a sound barrier here. So now you see Rogue. They switch things up with their comp. So AKM will go over to Reaper. You'll have your own Sombra as well. Now, obviously, Reaper great against Sombra. When the EMP comes out, Reaper can still, you know, do a ton of damage with his shotguns. You don't really lose much.
Soon wanted to drop the pulse bomb there. He was just waiting for it, but instead, wisely enough, going back to his team. Rogue looking to reset because they lost Unco. Just going to have to wait for him to come back into the action. And Unco is going to go ahead and switch over to the Ana here.
Well, the only thing that this does now for Rogue is it puts a ton of pressure on Wins, right? Because he's the only one with a support ult who can kind of sustain through a ton of damage. And it's the sound barrier, which easily could get negated by FaZe Clan's Raucus with the EMP. So you're putting a ton of pressure on Wins to be in a good position here to not get caught in an EMP.
See if Soon can make the big play happen with the pulse bomb. Waiting this one back here, and I think there was a, that was a pause called. Yeah, there you go. So a pause was called there by FaZe. But we'll see.
Now they say go.
Yeah.
But we'll figure out what's going on here in just a quick second. But
oh, apparently their comms are, they're having some issues with their comms. They're pretty important when you're playing Overwatch. You know, just a little thing.
Yeah, but I think I know Rogue. You've seen them switch up their comp now. On offense, they have 2 ticks. You see them go over with you know, Reaper and then Ana now. So I think, like I was talking about before, you're putting a ton of pressure. Wins on that last attempt, right, when they were going towards the point, stayed out of the harm's way of the EMP. Now he really needs to put a good emphasis on positioning, right? At least you have now, Unco on Ana from afar who can supply some support, obviously with Ana's healing from a distance. So you don't have to play Wins like super close to everybody. But I still think you're putting a lot of pressure where Raucus can just pump these EMPs over and over again, negate the use of the sound barrier, or just force Wins to not really be confident in using it right away.
Yeah, that's a tough one too, because there's just kind of like a, there's 2 things that happen here, right? Either sound barrier is dropped, boom, all of that shielding's gone, or EMP's gone, sure, or EMP is used potentially onto Wins. What if Raucus just says, I'm just going to dive into the back and just EMP the supports? Maybe get one more person, maybe get, Nico in that, and then he's able to just work with Shadowburn to clear right through them. That's a possibility too.
That's why you bring the Reaper into the equation, right? Because let's say the EMP comes out on the point, right? You still have Soon on Tracer, although he can't blink, still can do a decent amount of damage. But you have Reaper on the point who can just start plowing through players, right? I mean, even when Reaper gets EMP'd, sure, he loses his Wraith form, not able to use that shift ability, get out of harm's way, but he does not lose a lot of his firepower. Obviously, Reaper can still do a ton of damage.
Yeah, it's a positioning game for Wins, and it's also a positioning game for Raucus. How does he opt to use this one? And as I've said before, it's a little bit of a game of chicken, right? Who's going to go with it first?
And Raucus doesn't even need to use the EMP to be effective here.
That's what I was saying.
Just the fact that Rogue knows he has it just kind of, forces you not to use that sound barrier to
It's just
engage.
the fear.
Yeah, just the fear of it.
Yeah.
Just really kind of swings things here as I know we're still waiting. I know the game's still paused to give you an update on where everybody is in terms of ults. FaZe Clan on defense, they'll have their sound barrier. They'll have the EMP, what we've been talking about. They're going to get a self-destruct pulse bomb, and they're going to get a Dragon Blade here. On the side of Rogue, you have the sound barrier. We've talked about that. You have your pulse bomb. And then really you're just looking at D.Va self-destruct. AKM, Nox, and Unco not close to their ultimates yet.
Yeah, the battle really will be about Raucus versus Wins here. Does Raucus use the EMP when Wins drops, the sound barrier? Or does Raucus opt to, get better positioning, push forward, use that EMP? This is a very interesting situation, I think both
you
teams
can
are
also, like, if a Rogue, let's say, for argument's sake, right? Like, let's say you get a pick. You get right to the point. Maybe you don't put Wins in there. and then the EMP comes in. What you can then do is, if you want to, I mean, you can use, speed boost, back up a little bit, then re-engage with the sound barrier of your own. And then at that point, you're probably, the fight's going for so long, so much healing's going down, you probably have a nano boost there as well. So then you'd be in a good spot if you're a rogue. Or, I mean, they get a pick, let's say they go in, the EMP comes down, then you use the sound barrier on the point to just try and win it there. So Rogue does have some options in terms of, how Raucus uses this EMP as still waiting on the teams here. Figure out what's going on with their comms.
Man, I tell you, I'm shocked that we're at this point, honestly. Like, Rogue, one of the best teams in the region, and it's just really weird. This season of Contenders is weird, man. Immortals, the Season 0 champions, winless here.
Yeah.
United struggling to get a win as well. Like, man, that is just...
Well, I think what you've seen, at least in Contenders thus far, is like the teams that obviously have adjusted to the meta the fastest, right, have definitely been the best. You've seen a little bit more of a skill gap, between the top teams and kind of everybody like in that medium to the bottom. And then I also think you've seen it really pay off for teams who are versatile, who can run like numerous different looks at a high level, really catch teams off guard.
Yeah, it's been a very compelling season of Contenders thus far, and we thank everyone. By the way, it seems like the FaZe guys are still having a little bit of a hard time getting their comms together here. But, hey, I mean, while we wait for this one, right, there's just been discussion about FaZe. They're considered to be the second best team in North America right now. They've really had a chance to perform here. I just want to get your thoughts on this FaZe roster before we send it over to the desk.
Look, I think FaZe is very strong as a team. I think you definitely can stay that they potentially are the #2 team, but I definitely think that does a little bit of disservice to Envision with how good they've been. So I think you look at those two teams, Envision and FaZe Clan, both of them playing at such a high level. I think that'll be an interesting thing to see who gets that #2 spot between those two teams, because I think Envy just is going to hold on to that top spot.
Yeah, easy. I mean, they're the clear #1 team in the region right now. But, guys, while we do have this technical issue, we are going to get this one resolved, and, the players are looking to get ready to go there. For the time being, though, let's send it over to our lovely desk to break down what we've seen thus far.
Oh, it's getting lovely over here, fellas. We took a quick break, grabbed a bottle of water, came back, and it was communication issues for FaZe. So we're going to fill this time with talking a little bit about the composition changes that we're seeing as they're now trying to attack point B. Rogue pulling out the Ana here. Break it down for me.
Okay, so they pull out the Ana. They pull out, of course, the AKM on the Reaper as well. And the casters touched on this a little bit as well, but this is actually a combination we used to see quite a bit, and that is the potential for having a Beyblade. But not only that, and a Beyblade, I guess I should break it down for you, is where you use the Death Blossom ultimate in conjunction with the Nano Boost, and that gives you a huge burst of damage in a small area. And on second, which is so hard to attack, you kind of need to be able to bust through it and then take care of stragglers as they come in.
Yeah, and I kind of like it as well. We've seen United play Reaper here before, generally not with a Diva in that case, but now Rogue is bringing out the Diva with the Reaper, and I really like it because FaZe forced to play with a Genji, so FaZe are guaranteed to dive on top of Rogue here. So you're playing a Reaper that is going to peel off Fact Fiction and peel off Shadowburn. So that is very crucial. If FaZe, for example, swap well Soldier, they won't really have that advantage with the composition anymore. So hopefully this works out for Rogue.
Sideshow, will they have success? The game's ready, real quick.
So far, when they've been pushing, they had momentum. Now they don't have any of it, and their ults have looked bad. So it's not looking great for Rogue here.
Bad ults, no momentum, but you do have a Reaper and Ana. We'll see if they can get the job done. The game about ready to get unpaused. Let's send it back over. We got Goldenboy with Mr. X.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And yes, I do agree with that one, right? They snowballed so well at the first push, and then they just were not able to make that point happen. But in any case, so folks, we are back in the action. We are ready to go. Now let's see how Rogue are going to answer back here as they're starting to put some bodies onto the point.
Well, Carpe lands a pulse bomb there onto Wins. Now you will not have the sound barrier. This push is going to fall apart for Rogue. So, you don't see any ults here invested from the side of FaZe Clan outside of that pulse bomb. As now they'll be able to, build up a Primal Rage. You still have, sound barrier for them and EMP like we talked about. Now we'll see. There's a lot of time
switch again
for Rogue. So I mean, now you're not going to build. So this is what, the third time he switched. So now you're not going to build towards like any of these ults. I mean, let's say for argument's sake he can get an EMP, then then obviously he can use that EMP against Joe Meister's sound barrier. So you're kind of like in this cat and mouse game on both sides between, you know, your Sombras and Lucios.
And the action now, the rages into that health pack there on low. Soon wrapping around the side, working with the tanks to see if they can engage and push in. There goes to the Diva bomb. Is dropped down. Spree just forces everyone away for the time being. Ends up actually demeching Nico. So that is certainly going to hurt this push. But now Nox, with that engagement, gets the kill there onto Carpe. Here comes Soon, though. He's dancing around the point now. They are going to take out Fact Fiction. The EMP is dropped. Did they get wins? I believe they did get wins, but he will, or Joe Meister will drop the beat in turn to keep them alive in this fight, and now they're going to push them back. They did use the sound barrier in that engagement, though.
So I guess the saving grace for Rogue here is you're, getting closer towards your own EMP. The other team used their sound barrier and EMP, so you, if your wins, you don't have to worry about anything on the side of FaZe Clan, when using your own.
Whoa.
Oh, and we see Shadowburn here use a Dragon Blade, and you're not going to get anything for that. So literally the last 30 seconds could not have gone better for Rogue. I mean, you see them just burn their Dragon Blade. They burn through their sound barrier and their EMP. See if Rogue can make this push happen, though.
I think maybe they were hoping that Wins would use the sound barrier if you heard the Dragon Blade come out. I mean, I don't know, like that just seemed a little weird. There goes the sound barrier, and they know they don't have to worry about the EMP, so they are going to have free reign onto the point here. Here goes the EMP for Unco and company. Nico moves in. Death Blossom is playing out, and that's going to be the cap. Rogue managed to make it happen, and X, you were 100% correct on that one, my friend. You said things could not have gone better for Rogue with the way that FaZe burned out those ults, which is surprising considering the ult management that's come out of FaZe in the past.
There had to be a mistake by Shadowburn. I mean, to pull out the Dragon Blade that far.
To force the beat, like it doesn't. I mean,
maybe he thought the rest of Rogue was there at that moment in time, and then if he pulled out the blade, they can get aggressive, and then maybe you would have seen the sound barrier come in. But he uses it, and there's like nobody even close. So
yeah, without being in the comms there for FaZe, it's really hard to predict what happened there. But hey, you know what, Rogue, they were able to get those 2 points. 56 seconds left in their time bank here. Now it's going to be time for FaZe to attack. And Matt, what are we working with here?
Well, it looks like obviously still some time, but Shadowburn could run the Doomfist here for FaZe Clan. I think on the side of Rogue on defense. Interested to see if they stick with this. If Nico will stay on the Genji, or if he'll go back to Diva, and then you have AKM run something like a 76. So it looks like Unco has picked up the Sombra duties here.
You know, and it sucks because Nico's actually been a really good Diva. I do agree with what the desk has been saying. He's been doing the best job that he possibly can, with the role, given how, he really has to split that attention. But now it's going to be AKM on here, and this has been a point of contention in the past. People have disputed whether or not AKM on the Diva is good for this team, but it's just a necessary evil, it feels like. They have to run because they're going to need that defense matrix to keep them going in the fights.
Well, I think it's more of, AKM, he can play Diva, but I think Nico has been a standout player on Diva for Rogue. They've definitely looked better when he's in the Diva role. But the issue is then you lose out on potentially having a Genji, right? So,
yeah, it's more that Nico's a great Genji rather than AKM is a better Diva. Like I said, it's just necessary, right? They have to run it. And here we go. Now it's going to be FaZe's turn to attack. They will run the Doomfist with Shadowburn, and let's see if he's able to open things up for this team with the recent addition to Overwatch's hero pool.
And FaZe Clan going to go here towards the right, and Rogue is actually playing a heavy defense towards the left. They had AKM in that close room, then they had Nox around the corner. They're going to try and trap FaZe Clan inside that left door, but FaZe Clan goes all the way on the right side. Now going to go all the way back towards that mega health pack.
Yeah, they're going to have that to work with. Meanwhile, FaZe just won't have it because it, has been, it hasn't been hacked there. But they get all these kills, and my goodness gracious, they just push right through.
Well, here's the thing with the Doomfist, right? If you know the other team is going to run Sombra, which we've seen Rogue run Sombra pretty consistently, they're going to want to control that mega health pack area, right? If you can just force the action to happen over there, such a close-quartered area that Doomfist now just becomes like a one-shot kill machine, right? I mean, it would literally be like almost impossible. The fight is going down in there if Shadowburn lines up a punch, not to connect with anybody. As soon as we go out of that first phase, we see Shadowburn switch right over to the Genji.
Oh, and Wins actually having to get taken out of the action there for a brief moment. Will get healed members back up. I don't know if you saw it on the side of your screen there. Sound barrier is out for FaZe. Now they're looking to engage, but there you have it. We alluded to it before in the previous round. When you use that sound barrier, you have to be very cautious of the Sombra who could eliminate all that. And now FaZe, they do not have that sound barrier to work with. That push is effectively dead.
We'll see how FaZe decides to play this going into the next fight. Wins, they know he probably does not have a sound barrier right now. So maybe you see FaZe decide to use the nano and go in deep. If you're able to get Wins out, then there's no support for the side of Rogue. Maybe that's the thinking here, but if you are Rogue, you do have a Dragon Blade here that if FaZe starts to get aggressive, you can pull it out.
Now Rogue waiting for FaZe to make that first move. Carpe could get a big pulse bomb. He's just going to jump up to the point and have to force some of these members back for the time being. Rogue's getting the kills, though. Best efforts from Carpe, just not enough. Reset again. Go back to the drawing board. Rethink your approach, because this is Rogue's house, and they have basically closed the front door on them.
Yeah, and Rogue doesn't have to use any ultimates there, so now you're going to allow Unko to build up towards another EMP. Wins to get even closer towards the sound barrier. We'll see how FaZe Clan decides to play this. You still have the nano boost. You're getting Joe Meister closer to another sound barrier here as well. For an aggressive push. I mean, Rogue has literally everything here. It's going to be a big EMP coming in from Unko. Connects on a lot of the members of FaZe Clan here as Raucus will fall. Fact Fiction as well. So now FaZe, we forced to back up. The only benefit here for FaZe is now you've earned yourself the sound barrier, the nano boost you still have. You have not invested it yet. And you know the other team does not have the EMP.
But again, gotta emphasize this, X. You build up on that EMP so fast that mid-fight you could just be focusing on like shot calling and really target focusing, and then boom, EMPs drop. Your push is dead again. There's still, though, a lot of time for FaZe to work with, so that is the advantage that they have there. The beat has been dropped. They can do so freely because the EMP is not going to be in effect now. Soon, onto the point, AKM able to take out Shadowburn, and now Rogue, yet again. They're just going to hold this one. Man.
It's a Dragon Blade and Primal Rage there for Rogue. Helps them come out on top. And now Rogue, they've held on to the EMP and the sound barrier too, so.
That's a win for Rogue,
without a doubt.
You got that sound barrier out, GG.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? All FaZe needed to do was use the sound barrier there to force out, what, 3 ultimates from the side of Rogue? So, I mean, maybe you can get Shadowburn as a nano-boosted Dragon Blade, up in the sky, and he takes out, Unko or Wins, and it's easily a FaZe Clan, push that could be pretty successful as an EMP comes out before FaZe can get anything even going.
Just stopped again. I mean, Rogue, this is a great defense here. This is why they're confident on Volskaya. This great play here with Sombra has really been proven to pay off for them.
But yet again, now with the EMP gone, if you are FaZe Clan, you have to know that Rogue pretty much is dealing with nothing right now but that sound barrier. So you have, a lot of ultimates here for FaZe Clan to work with. No, well, I mean, maybe you play this close because you're trying to get that nano boost out early,
I think they're trying to build that EMP quicker because
that's
they want to
also
get
true, taking a ton of damage as well. As you see Unko up to 70% on his EMP. So now you've built a lot of these ults back up, but here comes a nano boost plus Dragon Blade in for Shadowburn.
And he's just getting knocked all over the place. Unko able to get out the EMP in time, but not sure who it ended up connecting with on that one. Soon gets a couple of stops on that. So far, so good, but FaZe Clan able to respond in turn. Keep in mind, though, that spawn's going to be right there. There goes the Diva Bomb, forcing people away. Carpe able to stay alive. The DPS living on the point. Oh, so close to being able to get that first tick, but here comes Rogue as they are right off of the respawn, able to answer back in turn and force FaZe back for the time being.
I wonder how many more pushes we see from FaZe Clan before they decide to make some kind of change here. I know they will have a sound barrier getting very close with Joe Meister at 80% coming into the next fight. But with how far Rogue is playing up and how fast they're getting this EMP, it's kind of hard for them to gauge when they're going to get it again. Nox pops his Primal Rage, just dives into the members of FaZe Clan here. Now he's going to back out all the way. His teammates pick up some more kills. Go right back to the health pack. Unko already at 98% to another EMP.
They got that one. EMP is all theirs. So Joe Meister, once again, and you saw all that damage that you put down onto Nox with the Primal Rage. He backs away. You know that either he's close or has the EMP now.
And what do you do here if you're FaZe Clan? I mean, you can't use the sound barrier to engage because you know it's going to be an absolute waste. What else do you have to work with here? I mean, you don't have a Primal Rage yet. I see Unko going to use the EMP, so probably not going to get anything here. So you see Spree's going to get D-Max. Raucous will fall yet again. So another push that doesn't even begin for FaZe Clan. And already down to 1 minute and 30 seconds here. As it's really not much they can do with how good Rogue is farming this EMP.
Yeah, this has just been a clinic. They've been putting the lights out on FaZe so many times. With 1 minute, 13 seconds left on the clock, they have to get desperate. They have to make a play happen here, X.
Well, look, I mean, Nox plays so far away, then goes back, gets the health pack. Unko, 80% already to his EMP. There comes the sound barrier there for Joe Meister. Unko does get the EMP in time. It'll be Shadowburn, though, drawing first blood on Nico. Shadowburn with another kill
out in time
on Asun. So you don't see the EMP come into question, and you don't see Nico's Dragon Blade at the beginning of the fight.
Well, let's see if they're going to be able to stall this one out. They are able to get that first tick now.
Look at Wins hiding up top with the sound barrier, though. He could come out from around this corner, use it to keep his teammates alive.
They got to jump on the point right now. They're going to make the contestment happen. Nico with the Dragon Blade. EMP is going to be out as well. Nico dives to the back, but no FaZe is going to be able to get the second point as no members of Rogue were hovering around the objective, and that will give them 2 points. So I didn't get to see the overhead there.
Yes, Spree uses a D.Va self-destruct there, and players just clear off the point for Rogue. But you saw Wins was up top, right? As soon as it was actually a really nice play there from Rogue. I know Wins hiding up top, that top right room. He comes flying out as soon as Nico comes out of the spawn. They use the Dragon Blade, they get the sound barrier down, and they get the EMP. Spree able to just use that self-destruct. You know, players just kind of scatter there from Rogue, obviously, don't want to die.
And they were so close, too. That was the other thing, right? They were so close to capping it. But now, on both sides, you're going to have, you know, a minute 18. I mean, basically the same thing.
Virtually,
you know, maybe
the same,
virtually the same. The 18 seconds could play out, especially if they end up, you know, dying early here. But it will be Rogue on defense first. See what FaZe could do.
And FaZe is banking on Rogue going with the Sombra yet again. So we'll see if Rogue changes the way they play around this, because last time FaZe, they took control of the right-hand side. They went up to the high ground. They came back to where that mega health pack is, and you got Shadowburn in there as Doomfist. You know, he lands one rocket punch. He builds up some shields, and you know, he's just doing a ton of damage. So much one-hit kill potential that they were able to take the point relatively easy there for FaZe Clan.
Big opportunity here for Rogue. If they don't win this one, well, it's going to be curtains for them. That will be all she wrote for the Frenchman in this series. It's going to hurt quite a bit. They're going to go down in the score, but now here we go. And Shadowburn said before that Rocket Punch just opens up so much for them. They haven't been able to get access to the left side yet, but it seems like it's not going to matter. They're just going to force their way right through the front, now pushing everyone back here. And just you see that damage come through. Dear Lord, he is just shredding right through them.
Well, I mean, it's worst case for Rogue, right? I mean, you lose Wins right at the beginning. You lose Nico as well. You know, Nico not as huge of a loss there as Wins, but you lose your one true support. Then you're forced to go all the way onto the back health pack. And then in that case, then Shadowburn can just wreak havoc on Doomfist. A lot like when they were in offense the first time. They take point A pretty quick. Now going into point B, only 37 seconds on the clock and counting. Unko not at an EMP just yet. We'll see what FaZe decides to do.
And again here, the Doomfist is really being such a disruptor. Trying to wait for that prime opportunity, that prime one shot. I think they are going to DMAC AKM. Seismic, or excuse me, the Meteor Strike is going to come down. Waiting it out to see who he's going to find here as he drops in on the action. Spree with the self-destruct is able to remove Unko from the equation so he can't use that EMP. They are able to get a couple kills though. Spree by himself on the point. And now overtime's going to play out, but I don't think anyone's going to be able to get there in time. And it's just going to be 3 points. No progress made on B. But still, though, 1 point on the board, that's going to be pretty big for FaZe.
Yeah, I think for FaZe Clan there, right? Any progress you could have made on B you would have been okay with, but they're not able to get anything going there. So, you know, they do get that first point, though. It's big, and they do so with that Doomfist yet again. And you saw there towards the end, right, Rogue? You know, you had their own D.Va, like, on their Mega Health Pack, and Shadowburn goes from that top high ground on the right all the way to that bottom left, you know, health pack, and he's able to just keep bashing that D.Va, you know, just get her demeched. You know, then he goes up for the Meteor Strike, doesn't really find anything. I know maybe they're trying to use that Meteor Strike, clear people off of the point, try and gain some progress there, but just not able to make that work. Now it'll be FaZe Clan on defense. For Rogue on offense, it looks like AKM will be running the 76, so look for them to try and control that top left high ground. But, you know, if FaZe plays this right, you know, they give up the high ground, right, to Rogue at the beginning. Maybe they just try and, you know, jump up top with the Winston, they take some damage, you start to build up towards your EMP. You know, Rogue may not leave themselves with a ton of time to make a good play for the point.
Yeah, you're looking at one, maybe, I mean, if like, you know, they reset super fast and go back 2 pushes, but I mean, that's really stretching it here. This is one good push when you really think about it, that they're gonna have Rogue. This is it for all the marbles. Remember, folks, we do play all 4 games, but 3 map wins and you are the victor of the series. Rogue cannot afford this. They have to win this one out. They have to try their absolute best here, and we know that they're going to give it all they got. But the question is, can FaZe hold them off? They go in, taking some damage early on in this one, but they are able to hurt some of the members of FaZe and push them back. Early pick there onto Shadowburn. Could pay off for them in the end. Nox has to stay alive, and they're able to keep themselves living in this fight. So far, so good for Rogue. As they push on forward, this might be a push that they can make happen here as they force everyone back. No one's going to be from FaZe. No one's going to be there from FaZe to be able to respond. Get the kills all around, left, right, center, making the progress, and it seems like this is going to be a cap here for Rogue. This is exactly what they needed here with plenty of time left to be able to push now. They get that added time, and that's going to be a first point capture for Rogue.
And they're very close to attack visor. They're going to get a sound barrier here. Raucus, though, builds up enough ult charge to get that EMP. So we'll see if FaZe can get good use of the EMP. Now they're trying to hold that, you know, top left high ground. Shadowburn was in the doorway. He gets picked right away, and everything falls apart right after for FaZe Clan. There comes the EMP in from Raucus.
Raucus is going to use that EMP to try and open things up for FaZe. They want to hold this one down, and they do manage to get kills. They have 20 seconds to work with. Soon is still alive. 1 tick, just 1 tick remaining. They have to go now. Not a lot of time.
And they use their sound barrier there, so you don't have that support ult. You maybe get Nox back onto the point with Primal Rage here.
It's desperation. It's desperation.
He's got to go.
They got to get onto the point. They're able to do so. Now we're going to be in overtime. All they have to do is get 1 tick, but you knew that that sound barrier was going to be coming. Here comes the Transcendence on the other side. AKM, though, will get hacked, and he will get dropped in turn. Soon trying to stay alive here onto the point. Pulse Bomb's going to be dropped. Does he get a kill with that one? No, it's free. Still, he's still going to be in that mech. Just trying to keep his teammates up with that defense matrix. Finally, he's going to get demeched, and this is the opportunity that Rogue was looking for, but they're so close. They're going to answer right back. FaZe hold this one down. Primal Rage, a desperation play to keep themselves engaged in this fight, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Nico's going to be in a world of hurt. Overtime is down, and that will do it. Rogue will fall. FaZe wins. They're up now 3-0, and with that, they get the victory. Oh man, that is Heartbreak City for Rogue.
Yeah, it's a tough one there for Rogue towards the end. You see the map will end in a draw, so that means, you know, both teams will get a map win for that. So you'll have FaZe go up 3-1, which I know if you do the math, Rogue can only win 1 more map, cannot force a game 5.
Yep.
So they will lose the series here in the end. I know they just, it's such a difficult spot, right? All in Volskaya, the defense has such a great spawn advantage there that if you invest a lot of ultimates and you don't kind of just snowball and just wipe the floor with the other team right away, you know, players come off the spawn, they end up stalling for a little bit, and you end up to hold on defense.
Man, I'm torn for Rogue here. This was such a critical win for them that they needed, and it just did not work out in the end. But for FaZe, I mean, man, how well are they playing? The desk, they called it. Although Johnny will not get his 3-1 prediction, it seems like the desk was right today.
Nobody predicted a draw, though.
No, so nobody predicted a draw. But for this one, Johnny, we'll let you have your small victory with the 3-1. In any case, guys, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, map 4, let's see where Rogue elects to go, or actually, you know, where we end up going, as a matter of fact. But in any case, we'll catch you guys in just a few. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back as we get ready for our 4th match in this series here. And while the series is at 3-1, the draw ended up giving points on each side. And because of that, as we had mentioned before the break, that Rogue have lost this series here. It will be FaZe taking the W, but Rogue got that pick, and it seems like they're going to go to Watch Point Gibraltar.
Yeah, which, I mean, look, if you're a Rogue, it's a tough situation to be in, right? You draw that out. You end up losing the series. Now, you just try and get another map win, because obviously you get a loss for the overall series, but, map wins come into question, right? You don't know what happens in terms of the playoff race. So, you want to win this map, get a second one on the board in the series. We'll see if they can bounce back, take Gibraltar here, which they did not win in that crazy game against Immortals last week. You remember that? Like, Immortals gets off the cart.
Do I remember?
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, they're going to go on. I know they're going to lose this map. And they ended up pulling it out towards the end. So, we'll see if Rogue can kind of right some of their wrongs here, win Gibraltar, take a second map in the series.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
FaZe have taken it to Rogue on every one of their maps.
Yep.
Numbani, a map that favors Rogue. I think the desk said they were 4-0 on Numbani. Lost that. Volskaya, a map again that they're, traditionally good at. Lost that one. Now we're going to go to Gibraltar. Is the trend going to continue, or, in the way of the Orisa comp, is third time the charm?
Who knows? It'll be FaZe Clan on defense. That is what we do know. The start here is then you'll have Raucus running Alna instead of Zenyatta, so from the high ground can obviously be pretty uncontested at times. Do a lot of healing from a distance, and then you get Shadowburn. Obviously, you're going to stay on the Genji. I mean, Genji, Doomfist, Pharah. Maybe a little bit of Reaper out of Shadowburn, but really it's going to be the Genji play that turns a lot of heads. And then Carpe, who we talked a lot about Shadowburn and some of the other players in the series. Carpe has been fantastic on Tracer all series long. On Rogue side here on offense, you will see AKM, at least at the start, potentially run the Widowmaker, which we saw him get into a nice Widowmaker battle with Buds last week in the FNRG FE match. And AKM, very good Widow, able to land some shots. We'll see if he can make an impact here at the beginning of this game. Just pick off one of these players, as you see Shadowburn putting a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, and then, man. And you know what?
You think you're safe, but you're not.
This combination of Carpe and Shadowburn, man, the way that they're able to just open it up, confuse their opponents. There's Shadowburn, there's Carpe. They synergize so well together. Rogue, though, still able to push his payload a little bit, X.
Well, you saw there, from AKM's POV, right? No Shadowburn goes right by him. Both tanks fly up. Just Carpe just darts out from the right-hand side of the screen, takes him out with ease. AKM goes right off of the Widowmaker. Now going to run the Soldier 76.
They end up losing out on D.Va here. That could sting a little bit. And he will get dropped, so right back into the action. He'll come back here in a second. Pulse Bomb drop. Does he get the kill? No, he does do some damage, though. And Rogue, despite the best efforts from FaZe, they're able to bring the payload right through the car wash. Now they just got to make sure that they're able to protect their flanks. And you can see they're putting a lot of emphasis on protecting their support.
Well, they've done a nice job advancing the payload when you didn't have Nico in the fight, right? I mean, you lose out on that defense matrix, all the damage coming in from the side of FaZe Clan. You end up FaZe Clan, they use an EMP there. Oh. Now Joe Meister is able to take out Unko before Unko can earn his Transcendence. Would have loved that, because Shadowburn's coming on through with the Dragon Blade.
I complimented them on being able to protect their supports, but FaZe just picked them off one by one. And Rogue back to the spawn rooms as they refocus themselves and push yet again. But they got the payload relatively close to point 1. But now this is where you're just a little concerned here, this push, because of the advantage that FaZe has currently in the ult department for the time being.
I mean, Raucus, the nano boost, you could throw that on to Fact Fiction, right? If he jumps on the cart, puts down some damage. Unko, though, he earns himself Transcendence, and then you have Wins also now earning himself Sound Barrier. You see, it's going to be the nano boost coming out from Raucus there onto their D.Va, so it's going to go on to Spree as he tries to stay on the payload. The AKM taking out Carpe, Nox using his Primal Rage here to knock players back. So you see the Sound Barrier now comes in from Rogue.
Soak up a lot of those shots there, in that play there from their enemy D.Va. D.Va self-destruct is going to keep them alive, but Spree's able to get back in, and he's right back out he goes. So that mech won't be able to stay alive long enough. D.Va self-destruct on the other side comes down, and now Rogue, as they push this forward, they're so close, and well, that happened. But it's okay, because we got the overhead. Yay.
We're still in it.
We're still in it, baby.
Evidently, that was a lie. As now we see FaZe Clan still here on the point. As now we're not here. As now evidently we're getting a pause. So now I'm just genuinely confused. So it looks like, yeah,
it's okay.
I mean, things happen. Rocket switches off of Ana. He goes over to Zenyatta. So you lose, your Ana there at the start. They use the nano boost on a Spree. You don't really get anything for it. He switches right away. So we do have some changes coming in terms of teams. I know both teams have used both support ults at this moment in time. Nico has just used a self-destruct to just kind of fill you in on what's going on in the game. Carpe still near the payload. Joe Meister is literally about to die. And then Spree coming off spawn with his D.Va mech. So maybe you see FaZe Clan stall this out a little bit longer.
Yeah, so guys, apologies for that one there. Things happen as everyone, it seems like there was a little bit of a tech issue, but we are going to get this one moving in just a little bit. So let's talk about, now it's just you and I here on the screen yet again. Let's talk about, how this match has gone for FaZe, actually, on the defense, because, they've been doing a pretty solid job, but it seems like Rogue is now starting to make some moves here.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue has made some progress. I've lost all view of the game now, so I can't really tell you what's going on. But I know you have seen on defense from FaZe. I know they end up losing a few players at the beginning of that fight. And when Raucus switches, he comes back on the Zenyatta, but really just trying to keep Carpe alive, stall a little bit longer. I think it's that second phase when we get in towards the hangar. I definitely think that's where you see FaZe Clan put up a much stronger defense, because right now, I mean, Rogue about to take point A, you would think. I mean, if they look, all they have to do is kill Joe Meister. He's very weak. Then Carpe's still there as well. If you get rid of those two players, you take point A pretty quickly here, as we can go right back into game.
Oh, here we go. It's back into it here.
They do kill Carpe. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Spree able to stay alive here, as I know maybe you get Fact Fiction back onto the payload, and you have Shadowburn coming off spawn with Dragon Blade, but has no other teammate support there, as Fact Fiction dies pretty much instantly. A few members from FaZe come around the corner, and it'll be point A. It's going to get unlocked here for Rogue, and they kill a few members from FaZe Clan here, so now going to have to fall all the way back. We'll see if Rogue can get control of this high ground.
And you were really just, that particular play, I mean, they kind of were stuck between a rock and a hard place, but it did give AKM some more ult charge to be able to build up on it. And if you let AKM get that high ground, I mean, he's just going to shred right through them with that attack visor. So I got to be mindful of that one here. So getting contested up into the shuttle soon. Trying to see if he could bring down some of the health here of, you know, the members of FaZe, is they don't want to give away that high ground, and for reasons that I just said, you just don't want to give that one up. You can't let the 76 get possession of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, while they're playing for this high ground, the payload has made a decent amount of progress. The tac visor comes out here for AKM as, you know, it gets eaten up by the D.Va defense matrixes. Now it'll be
Shut
Rogue
that down.
backing up a little bit here. FaZe Clan going to get both of their support ults online. Shadowburn uses a Dragon Blade in that fight. You know, Rogue, I mean, they use a Pulse Bomb. They use Tac Visor here. So we can take a look at the Dragon Blade kills coming in from Shadowburn.
Yeah, he cut through winds as well as Unco there. Actually deflected a shot there. And now Rogue back again, looking to respond as they want to just shut this down here best they can. And they're just, I mean, if I'm correct, that is, yeah, I was going to say, it's going to have to prompt out that Transcendence there so that they could just push them back. But the rival Transcendence, they time it so that this way they can get that little added advantage. Spree kills wins with the D.Va bomb, and now you're going to have Nox, who's surrounded by all the members of FaZe. And is he able to get out of that? No, he will die by Spree, and there you go. Once again, Rogue back to it. They're super close to being able to get that second point, though.
I mean, you had everybody fall for Rogue, and you end up using the Primal Rage there. Maybe you could have held on to that, because now, I mean, you burn your Transcendence, you use the Tac Visor in the previous fight, so you don't have any of that. We'll see now. FaZe Clan, I mean, you do have a Sound Barrier here in Shadowburn. They're behind enemy lines, building closer and closer towards that Dragon Blade.
That's certainly going to hurt them. With 1 minute left on the clock, they don't have a lot of time to work with. They got to get that second point. Instead, it'll just come down to progress, and the you know, the journey becomes a lot easier for FaZe. Now, a kill onto Shadowburn would have been pretty big for them, but they can't find it just yet. Nox goes in, drops that shield for protection. Fact Fiction, though, runs right through them, gets himself 3 kills. And on the upside of that, you're going to have your teammates just following up as well. Now, with 40 seconds left on the clock here, Rogue, they have to make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, FaZe Clan did not use any ultimates there. I mean, you didn't have a Primal Rage. You build up closer to that as Fact Fiction picks up 3. Now Carpe, he's going to have a Pulse Bomb. Rocket's going to get closer towards Transcendence. Unco most likely will not get the Transcendence in this fight. As Rogue down to their final 20 seconds here, you do have a Sound Barrier, though, if you are Rogue.
Carpe did use the Pulse Bomb. He didn't really get much for it. There comes the Dragon Blade right into this death room here. That's going to have to prompt them to use the support ults to drop the beat. Shadowburn gets a kill onto AKM, and Unco using the Transcendence basically as soon as he gets it here. But FaZe, they're able to get a couple kills that will put this fight in their favor. Overtime is going to be in effect. Now the D.Va bomb drops down. Do they get any kills? Well, Nox able to kill Raucus on that one. But so far, this has been all FaZe. They look pretty solid, holding this one off. Nico, he's going to have barely any health remaining. They're going to have to push him back. Nox as well. Oh boy, this is just not looking good for the Frenchmen here, as they look like they're going to get shut down, and so close to being able to make this one happen. So close for FaZe to being able to end this push right here, right now, and they do so. They can't get that second point.
And coming off the spawn there, Carpe was able to take out AKM before he could get back into the fight, and AKM had his Tac Visor.
Ooh.
So you saw a few times, I mean, they were not able to get the high ground control. You know, Rogue, they just kept trying to force their way up to the top. You know, sometimes they wouldn't even make it there, right? You know, a lot of pressure would come in from FaZe Clan. They'd force them like down into the basement. You know, we saw a few times where, you know, Fact Fiction was able to just knock players back into the basement there, right underneath the hangar. But really, with the 76, you're playing around a lot of getting that high ground control. They were not able to do it. They only complete point A. They get, 79 meters on the map. We'll see now on defense if they can hold on. Last week, we saw AKM run the Sombra here. With Nico already selecting the D.Va, you expect to see Sombra here.
FaZe, not a lot of progress that they have to make. 1 point, and, you know, honestly, with the way that they can play aggressive after they get the point, realistically, you could see FaZe just really put Rogue in a bad spot early on. So Rogue really got to come out swinging with AKM on that Sombra. Has worked out for them in the past. Just their Sombra play in general has been top-notch. The desk had alluded to it in the past. They said this is a team that has kind of been reinventing themselves around the Sombra. Now is that time for them to just get that map win, right? They can't win the series, but at the very least, get that map win. You know, and if things come down to the bubble where you're fighting for that 4th place spot, map wins could play a factor there. So it's still a very important round here for Rogue.
Without a doubt. as you will see, AKM select that Sombra. Look to see him, obviously hack the Mega Health Pack, over in server room, probably the one underneath the bridge as well. So it looks like that's the one that he's going to start with. And then just get onto the payload, contest a little bit, go back, get all charged back up, get closer towards that EMP.
Here comes AKM right around the flank. You just saw him running in the peripheral there. It's going to force him back, and there goes the dive. They get that debuff, and that's going to have to force the tanks to go back, but they will have that hacked health pack, so at the very least they can continue to stay alive, as well as the help there from Wins with that AoE healing. But they're pushing him far back here, and it seems like they might be able to make their way through the car wash in just a second, especially if Shadowburn's able to get an early pick here. That'd be pretty good for them, too.
Yeah, it looked like they got AKM pretty weak. Not able to take him out, though, as you get into dangerous territory, right? When you get under the bridge and Rogue has an EMP, you can just connect with everybody. As soon takes Fact Fiction out at the beginning, Rogue's still farming that big health back here underneath the bridge.
Yeah, and because of that, AKM's going to be really close to getting that EMP, and I think, the members saw that and they said, oh boy, we just gave them a lot of farm for that EMP, so they got to be weary of this one going into the next fight. As AKM looking to play this one out, wonder when he's going to decide to pop that one.
Well, here's kind of the same issue we had on Valskaya, right? Where now Joe Meister earns himself Sound Barrier. Look at the situation he's playing this into. He's going to use the Sound Barrier.
Boom.
Yep, there it goes, EMP. I mean, the only one who still gets the shields from it is going to be Shadowburn, but it does not matter. Everybody falls pretty instantly there from the side of FaZe Clan, and maybe you kind of baited that out if you're Rogue. I mean, Unko uses his Transcendence, keeps the rest of his members alive, right? But if you see that from FaZe, maybe you're like, okay, let's try and push him back. Let's use the Sound Barrier. Let's kind of push on through. Because, well, look, Rogue with both of these sustain ults, right? With the Transcendence in the Sound Barrier, can just battle through that, and you just negate the other team's sustain with an EMP. Shadowburn, though, opens up, takes out soon at the beginning of this next fight. It'll be Fact Fiction who jumps right on top of Unko. Wins falls as well, so when things were looking good for Rogue, falls apart.
Yeah, Wins he picked up the the beat online just as he died there, so he wasn't able to use it. Now FaZe, they're getting these kills, but they still haven't been able to push this payload, though, as it is still contested. So if you're Rogue, you're pretty happy with that, right? Because you stopped any progress, and now you're going to get that other opportunity to be able to make that, that hold happen here before they get to first.
Well, yeah, and you get another EMP here. You have your Sound Barrier to use if you are Rogue, soon getting closer towards Pulse Bomb. The only issue you have is FaZe Clan is going to have every ultimate going into this next fight. If FaZe plays this right, they hold on to some ults, they win this next engagement, and they're in a good spot to just kind of roll through Hangar. There comes the EMP to open things up for Rogue.
Question is when they're going to use that Sound Barrier to be able to keep them alive in this fight. Here comes Shadowburn. He's going to get the Nano Blade as well. Cuts through Unko. Looks for Wins in the back line. Maybe he's going to get just a Rogue Tracer as well. Will end up getting hacked, though, from the Sombra. Still, they're able to keep themselves alive in this fight. On the other side of that, though, they end up losing out on Spree's Diva mech. And that will give Rogue the ability to win out on this fight.
FaZe used a lot there, Alex.
They did.
They used Nano, they used Blade, they used their own self-destruct.
But they will have
Sound Barrier
online here.
I mean, look at how fast AKM is building up towards this EMP. You're going to have an EMP here again for Rogue. You're going to get very close, the fight extends just a little bit towards the Transcendence. So Rogue in a good spot here. With only 30 seconds left, FaZe go up against the clock.
It's all about getting that first pick. 25 seconds left on the clock. Primal Rage is going to be down, and there you hear the beat. It drops down, giving them the shields. Shadowburn and the rest of the crew forcing everyone back. And FaZe, they're so close to being able to make this happen, but there goes the EMP. It's going to stop Spree from being able to protect anyone there with the Diva. Here comes Carpe, drops that Pulse Bomb, but doesn't get much for it, though. Still alive, and a live Carpe is certainly something that you have to fear. They have 3 members up, they push on it, and they do manage to make it happen in OT, adding 2 minutes and 26 seconds on the clock here. But still, it took everything they had to make that push happen. Luckily for them, it worked out.
And they didn't have much. I mean, they had Primal Rage and Sound Barrier. That was it. I mean, Carpe earns a Pulse Bomb through that, but Rogue had so much to work with there as it all falls apart. Now Rogue is going to make some comp changes here. You have Nico switching off of the Diva. He will now go over to Genji, and you'll have AKM picking up the Diva responsibilities.
And, again, Nico is a great Genji. He's going to have a lot of room to play with, a lot of obstacles to jump on here, get some cover. But remember, folks, that golden box of victory, that's it. If FaZe are able to march the payload there, it's going to be GG, and FaZe will win this one 4-1. Rogue have to hold this one off 1 minute 41 seconds.
And I mean, because FaZe was able to take point A with really not a lot of ults, now they've actually built up a decent amount of them. You see a self-destruct go over the top. Not going to connect with anything. Shadowburn, though, does have Dragon Blade to get it again. Raucous does have the Nano Boost if they want a combo.
Let's see if they opt to use this one here. Here you go. You were right, Axe. He's going to use it. Oh, my goodness. He cuts through the supports. He's going to find himself AKN 2. And that's going to be 3 members down. They're so close from being able to cap this and get that second point on the board. They will win. Sound barrier is going to come out, but I just don't know if, you know, Rogue, they can't really answer back. The sound barrier for FaZe pretty much seals that. Transcendence comes in to stall things now.
Well,
He's
and they
waiting
have
on
sound
the point.
barrier as well for Rogue. So you're going to be able to get both support ults here. So you're still in this if you are Rogue. You get a lot of members back into the fight. It's going to be a Dragon Blade that comes out from Nico.
But they have to get the follow-up. They have to get the kills. And Dragon Blade for Nico gets Raucous. You can see him just continuing to apply pressure here. Wins is not in the best of spots. He's going to be really hurt. They lose out on Winston too. And that is also going to sting. As now they're so close from being able to make this happen. 3.77 meters. They clear them out. Unco goes in for the desperation, but he won't be able to make it happen. And that will be it. FaZe, they get themselves 4 map wins in this series here against Rogue. GG's all around, but FaZe, they beat Rogue in each and every one of their maps.
Yeah, Rogue, towards the end, they come back on the cart. They had both support ults, but just not enough. FaZe clan, they had made so much progress to that moment in time. You know, Fact Fiction, he pops his Primal Rage. He's knocking players around, doing a ton of damage. Shadowburn and Carpe on cleanup duty. You're able to end the game.
Yeah, it was just, at that point, it was just all desperation. There was a sliver of hope that they had to be able to knock them back, but it just, I mean, FaZe, it was just all over them like white on rice. I have to say, man, FaZe, they have really, throughout the course of Contenders, they have really just leveled up through and through, and this team has been very impressive to watch.
Yeah, it's been a team that each week you can see them just getting better, synergizing well with each other, you know, even better than we have seen in the past, right? I mean, I think Shadowburn and Carpe, you're really seeing those two players really start to work quite well with each other.
That's right, folks. Well, you know what? FaZe, they get that win, and that puts them one step closer to playoffs. In fact, I think they may have even...
They'll be close.
Yeah, they'll be
very
super close. But things have gotten very interesting in the bubble there for Rogue. Unfortunately for them, they are not able to get that victory. And now they're kind of stepping back from the playoff picture. But let's go ahead and send it over to the desk and all that good stuff to wrap it up, talk about the matchup. That's going to do it for us. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time.